What's up guys, and welcome to another Simple Truth video. Today we'll be covering the mystery that is fat loss, how to do it correctly, how to do it smartly, and also rid you of all the worries and stresses commonly associated with losing fat and dieting. So stick with me, and by the end of this video you will feel confident, inspired, and more knowledgeable about how to drop fat properly. First of all, may I apologise for my Casper-like complexion. Apparently in Britain, sun is now a rare commodity. I'll be taking care of this in the form of a sunbed in the next few weeks. Help get that vitamin D kick, make me feel a little better and a bit more alive. If like me, you're in the UK or somewhere else where it's dark and grimy all the time at the moment, if you're feeling a little bit, it could be because of that lack of vitamin D, lack of sunshine. So just jump on, a little sunbed once every 2 weeks, something like that. Will help perk you up. If you live in California or somewhere sunny, I hate you. So today we're covering dieting and fat loss. I have my notes here ready to go, and I'm going to cover some of the major points. Now this is a huge topic, so stick with me on this. If I missed anything, just make sure to comment below and I will try and cover it in another Simple Truth video or answer your question directly in the comments. As always, I am live on YouTube. I'm constantly looking through the comments. I do answer. I try to be very, very interactive. There are no stupid questions. If you feel something confuses you, simply ask below. Guys who are watching, community, my crew, help each other out in the comment section, and don't be afraid to give crap to those that try to be negative. The goal of losing fat is not to starve yourself. It is to eat as much as possible while still losing weight. You feed weight loss, you support the body, you do not starve it. Starving will simply shut your body down, reduce fat loss, increase fat storage, increase muscle loss, and make you feel like crap. Understanding the process. First thing to understand about dieting phases and stripping down to show what is underneath, that is pretty much what you are doing. You are stripping down what is already there. So don't be under the illusion of flipping through Flex magazines and seeing these lean guys who seemingly have gone from, check out my Billy Belly, this was me 8 weeks ago. Bam! Look at me now, 8 weeks later after Cut 7,000. It doesn't work like that. So if there is not a lot of muscle mass on you at the moment, if you're a slender guy, understand that once you strip the fat down, a lot of the bulky areas of you may well slim off and you'll end up with a lean, mean, athletic physique, but you're not suddenly going to look bigger and rounder and fuller. If anything, during your dieting phases, outside of training, when you're deliberately pushing blood into the muscle, you're gonna probably look a little bit flat. That is a mental barrier that you're gonna have to cross, and you have to be ready for. If it's not, if you wanna put on a little bit more size, maybe now is not the time to diet for you. Maybe you should spend a little bit more time lean gaining. We'll cover lean gains in a complete other video, but let me just say here, lean gain is not 12 weeks, you're looking more like 12 months for a serious change. So if you're thinking you've done 10 weeks of gaining and you're now going to go into a cut, don't bother, stay in the gain. 10 weeks is no time at all to be growing any muscle. At least 6 months, try and stay in a gaining phase. Okay? Next up, how do you go about it? What is the raw, basic fact of losing weight? It is not a super keto, paleo, banana ridden, seed eating, lick a dog when it's a Sunday afternoon super diet. No, it's fucking calories in versus calories out. That is the bottom line, simplest fact of the day. That's what makes you lose weight, when you are putting out more calories than you are bringing in. Now, that does not mean that by stripping down the calories you've brought in into a horrendously low value that you're going to get leaner quicker or end up with a better result. In fact, it will create the opposite. After ensuring that your calories going out are slightly more than your calories coming in, you have to look at supporting the body. And we will cover this in the next couple of sections, but it is not about starvation. It's about a controlled, calculated calories in versus calories out. Whether you do that through manipulation of carbs or manipulation of fats or maybe a balance of both, it's up to you, but there is no perfect, simple, super magic way other than creating that deficit of calories. Being smart. This is one of the biggest things that you're going to have to get through, and that is the mental side of things. Understanding what you're undertaking, how you're going to look, and how you're going to feel. Dieting is not about starvation. It's not about punishment. It's not about sacrifice. It's not about feeling shit to look good. You can look good and get to your goal in an intelligent manner, in a happy manner, and in one that doesn't alienate everybody from your life. If you are dieting and you're grumpy, cranky, angry, tired, not sleeping well, feeling overly hungry, feeling dehydrated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling anxious, feeling like you can't think properly, if any of these things start coming around, something needs to change. It's not right. Something is in error. Dieting is a slow process. It's not a quick fix. You have to get over this. You have to have realistic time expectations and a realistic goal set. As we said before, you're only stripping down to what is already created underneath. So, if you're new to the gym, you've only been training a year and you're now going in a diet phase, don't expect to suddenly look like Sean Ray or Ronnie Coleman just because you've dieted down. Don't expect big bulging muscles. Don't expect big round full muscles. They come with time. They come with density of muscle, creation of muscle, and mass more than anything. I've seen guys who are very lean, but because their abs aren't popping off and they've not got veins popping everywhere, big round muscles, they think they've got more fat to lose, when the reality is there's just not the muscle mass under there to have that big round full dense granite look. And to be honest with you, the only guys that have that look for a long period of time are the guys on gear. You can't stay looking like that when you're natural. It can't happen. You can look insanely good in the gym, pumped up, when blood is flowing, you've got your carbs in, glycogen's pushed into the muscle. You know, everything does look tight and granite hard because there's that glycogen there, because the blood's all there. But the moment you stop training and that blood flow decreases, the glycogen stores begin to get depleted again, and you start to flatten off, soften off, you're gonna get back to normal. So it's a big mental hurdle, dieting, it really is. And every time that you do it, your body will get better at it, and every time you do it, you will get better at it. But if you can start on the right path, if you can start in the right direction, with the right knowledge and the right background information, I promise you now, you'll be more successful than 99% of people in the gym who are on a diet, or a shred, or a cut. Understanding your potential. Now this is where genetics comes into play. Some people are going to be able to sit at a low body fat for longer periods of time, or naturally just sit at a lower body fat all the time because they have a high metabolism or they have a naturally high lean body mass. These are just things that you have got to get the fuck over. It doesn't matter what somebody else does. It doesn't matter what somebody else looks like. You have to work with your body, what works with you. So you might have a guy that can get shredded in 10 weeks. Bully for him, fucking brilliant. It's still gonna take you 20 weeks no matter how much you whinge about that guy getting shredded in 10. You have to do what you have to do that gets you where you want to go. So get over it. Concentrate on yourself, not other people. This is one of the biggest things you can do, is to not compare yourself to others. Take advice, by all means. You know, be helped along, but at the end of the day, your body runs in its way, in its time scale, and genetics play a big part in that. The average guy, I would say, would be able to diet down over a 12 to 16 week period to a good level of leanness. To get that stupid lean, that kind of competition stage lean, I honestly believe 20 weeks really slow chipping away. That is the way to successfully get to where you want to go, because it allows you to control things over time. It allows you to have error points. It allows you to have time to change and rebalance things. If you give yourself too short a timeline to do something, it leaves you no margin for error, no margin for plateau points, and it puts more stress on you, and stress in itself causes errors. Everybody's genetic setup is slightly different. It's your difference between usually the ectomorphs, your endomorphs, and your mesomorphs. Learning about your body is probably one of the most important things that you can do during these trials of gaining and dieting. So don't take anything that you see as being a hindrance, take it as a lesson. Take it as a way to be able to improve how you practice what you do, and to have knowledge of what you need to do further down the line every time you want to do it, which will then in itself stop you becoming disappointed or feeling like you failed when really you haven't failed, you just didn't have enough time. The food. Let me kill one big stupid myth. There is no such thing as clean food. Food is food. Your body does not have a conscience. Your body only understands what things break down into. When you put something in, it breaks it down into proteins, it breaks it down to carbs, and it breaks it down to fats. Then alongside that, it has obviously all your nutrients and your minerals. But the proteins, the carbs, and the fats, these three macronutrients, these three are what control your body fat to muscle ratio. Micronutrients, they control you having a healthy body. But visually, they have very little impact. Mentally and energy-wise, they obviously have a decent amount of impact. But on a basic level, on a visual, how lean you are, they're minimal. But they're important in terms of health. But the proteins, carbs, and fats can be taken from any source. You can be deficient in your micronutrients and still get shredded. You will feel like shit, you'll have bad skin, your hair won't look great, and you might look tired, but it's still 1000% possible. It's been done. It's been proven that you can get shredded eating McDonald's every day. Is it the best way to do it? Is it sensible to do it? No, nobody's saying that, but it's proof that it can be done regardless. So please stop restricting yourself from food. If you want to not eat processed foods, if you don't want to eat sweets, chocolates, crisps, all the things that are classed as bad, that is absolutely fine. Nobody's saying that it's going to do you any harm not eating them. But what will do you harm is being restrictive with your food or being scared of having something in your diet, because that creates a negative connection to food, not a positive. And negative connections to different types of food is a very damaging thing in terms of your mental link to food long term. I know hundreds of people who are fearful of eating something that has cheese in it or carbs in it because they think it's going to undo everything that they've done, or it's going to suddenly make them fat, or suddenly make them lose all their gains or not achieve their goals. And it's just brainwashed bro science, absolute nonsense. It's been disproven 1,000 times over. What I want you to understand is all foods have a nutritional value, and you can control those nutritional values. And as long as you control them and keep them within your target ranges, any food is okay. Now, when you diet, what you should be doing is monitoring macros, or at least monitoring calories. If you do this, you will self-moderate. You will self-correct. Because when you take something that is bad, which in a bad food, all it usually is a high impact food, like say sugary sweets. They're high impact in terms of a small volume of them will give you a high amount of carbohydrates because they're full of sugar in compact form, compared to potatoes, which have per 100 grams a lot less sugar, so you get a bigger volume of them for the same carbohydrate levels. So like 20 grams of sugar is going to fit in the palm of my hand here, which is 20 grams of carb. Whereas 20 grams of carb from potato, I would have to get nearly 100 grams, which is going to be a heck of a lot more volume. To your body, carbohydrate-wise, these are identical. 20 grams of sugar or 23 grams of sugar to 100 grams of sweet potato. To your body, when it breaks it down, that is the same level of carbs. Now, the sweet potato obviously has more micronutrients in it as well alongside, but that doesn't matter for the fat loss and your lean body mass, okay? Now, obviously, the sensible choice to keep you full and to keep you satisfied would be the sweet potato. But say you wanted to sacrifice 10 grams of that carbohydrate of that sweet potato, so you wanted to sacrifice 45 grams of your sweet potato to have some sweets because you want those sweets, that's fine. Because it's controlled, you've made the choice. It's when you don't understand that fact of the different volumes that things go wrong. So don't be afraid of food. Be knowledgeable of food. All foods are acceptable, all foods are permitted, but all foods must be controlled. Macros, macronutrients. Monitoring your macronutrients is the number one best way, hands down, that you can moderate your diet. Now, it is a little bit more time consuming because it means weighing your food, but It doesn't have to be as crazy as it sounds. Most of us, when we're on a diet or in a dieting phase, will just eat similar meals all through the day because it's easier, especially if you have a working life, it's easier to prepare a similar meal over and over again and take it with you. This makes macros easy to do because you don't have to weigh meal for meal. So let's simplify this just to make a really simple example. Say your macros requires you to eat a kilo of chicken a day. The carbohydrates came to a kilo of potatoes and the fats came to 90 grams of peanut butter, okay? You don't have to log each portion of that intake as you eat it. You could cook off a kilo of chicken, a kilo of your potatoes, and get 90 grams of peanut butter, log the entire lot for the day, and then eat this, which you have now already logged, as and when you feel like it through the day. And that's it. Job done. It's as easy as that. Now, obviously, you can do this as little or as much as you want. So, you could log 4 meals worth of a prepped batch cooked amount in one go in the morning, and you think, log it in, and then just eat those through the day. Then when you get back home, create your final meal that fits the rest of the macros that you've got left. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can do big preparations, which is what bros do anyway, cooking off masses of chicken and sweet potato and everything all in one go. So macros are hands down the #1 way that you can be accurate and be in control of your food and make adjustments very, very easily and make them very small as necessary so that your food stays up and as high as possible as long as possible. Unlike the other unmonitored methods where people are cutting out random amounts of food in the hope that they've reduced calories somewhat, somehow enough to again make them lose weight. Make a little bit more sense? I hope it does. We can do a more in-depth video on this if you want me to. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to go deeper into detail on this. I just thought it might bore you right now, or it might overwhelm you if you're new to this. But comment below, let me know.